Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A little bit of a different video today as we'll talk about all the rumours surrounding Harry Potter TV shows and movies that may apparently be in the works. Now it has been 12 long years since the last Potter movie, and fans are absolutely desperate for either a complete reboot or a spin-off TV show series surrounding the actual characters of the school, or just something to do with a past version of Hogwarts. Not this. Not this. I personally feel like a Hogwarts Legacy TV show would be fantastic. If you've played the game, then you might agree that it's pretty easy to fall in love with all the characters. They all have well thought out backstories. Ominous Gaunt in particular is my favourite, and I love how accurate they get Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black, as he rather despised the students and didn't really like his job that much. Anyway, I think the option that's being thrown around quite a lot is the possibility of a Cursed Child movie, which is actually the worst story ever written if you ask me, with more plot issues than I can count and poorly constructed character arcs. Look, I won't go into it, but anyway, the Cursed Child movie is the one that's getting the biggest hype. There's even a fake trailer that was circulating a while back, and it's got a couple of million views. Personally, I would love a full movie on Voldemort's backstory, his origins, Tom Riddle, the early days. I mean, how many fan movies have to be made for Warner to actually listen and give us the movie that we want? Now, while there are some former actors who would love to return to the old guard, there are some who don't see themselves returning, and I'm sorry to disappoint some of you, but Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint and Emma Watson don't really have any intention whatsoever of making an on-screen return to the Wizarding World as older versions of the characters that they once played. Daniel in particular feels rather strongly about not returning, judging by these few quotes that I've come across. Take a look at the first one. A source close to Daniel has said, "Daniel will always be eternally grateful for the life that Harry Potter and J.K. Rowling have given him. He played Harry for 10 years and has made memories to last a lifetime, but he has tried extremely hard to distance himself from Potter in order to be in contention for more serious roles in different genres of movie making. And he really believes he's finally achieved that. He wants to be recognised as Daniel and not just that guy who played Harry Potter." Another quote reads, "Daniel is not reprising his role as Harry Potter in any Cursed Child movie. He adores the franchise but considers it a closed chapter in his life. He's not entirely the biggest fan of the story either, but most importantly thinks that returning to work with JK, if she is somehow involved, after the controversy surrounding her comments, would hurt his relationship with the trans community, especially after openly tweeting his rejection of her views on trans people. There's no chance of a return." So let's just take a look at one more quote, guys, which reads, "Daniel is actually really surprised that he's continuously linked with the return to play Harry so often. He's far too old even for an older Harry. He feels that his job is done and that if Harry Potter returns to the big screen, then it should be someone else to play him. He stated repeatedly that he's eternally grateful to Joe for the life he has, but is focused on taking on roles of a more detailed nature. He loves Potter and always will, but wants to maintain his distance from a movie franchise that ended over 12 years ago." So as you can see, guys, it apparently seems like a closed door for Daniel to return, and to a large extent I can understand why. As the quote says, the movies did end over 12 years ago, and the characters are entitled to move on, but, and this is a massive but, he does go on to say, "I feel like I made it out of Potter okay, but never say never." Rupert Grint and Emma Watson are not far off with their own views on return, and by that I mean it's a complicated situation, but Grint seems a little more optimistic. Rupert is enjoying the work he's doing and wouldn't rule out a return 100%, but only on one condition, a condition which doesn't seem like it will happen. He says, "I can't really think of a reason not to. I love that character. I love that world. It's a huge part of my life. I feel this kind of ownership of Ron in a weird way." He goes on to state that the condition of his return would be if Daniel and Emma returned to their roles too, otherwise it would be a no and to, as I quote, "just leave it." Emma also has her own condition for a return. The story for starters has to be right. She loves that Hermione has gone on to become Minister for Magic in The Cursed Child, but isn't actually a huge fan of the story. Her firm condition, however, is that should a new Harry Potter movie be made, or TV show, series, anything like that, then J.K. Rowling can have no association with it whatsoever. No input, no writer's credit, no fee, no financial gain at all. She's furious with Jo and wants absolutely nothing to do with her at any point. She was really hurt as she had such a strong relationship with Jo, a woman she admired for almost her entire life. So to see her systematically shatter what Emma believes everything the franchise stood for was very difficult to take. All three actors firmly believe that the franchise should continue to be valued for what it stood for all these years: the right to acceptance and to be who you are and to reject oppression. So while Daniel has seemed to close himself off, Rupert won't return without the other two, and Emma won't return unless JK is disassociated with the franchise she created, it doesn't really look like it's going to happen. Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy, would love a return to the franchise if more shows or movies were in the works. He says, "Honestly, if they do continue to make more films or TV shows in the Wizarding World, I'd be happy to pop up as an extra in the background. I'd still just love to be part of the world. That would be cool enough." Tom, my friend, you are most certainly not going to be an extra in the background. He played his role so well, and I would love to see Draco back on screen from a personal standpoint. So guys, someone who I was quite shocked to see to have no interest in a return was Matthew Lewis, who played Neville Longbottom. Out of all the characters, Neville would fit into a next generation of Hogwarts students kind of movie, as he goes on to be a teacher in the school, so the setup for him to appear is fitting, but the actor doesn't have the desire to do so. He says, "I can't confess to having given it any serious thought. I don't know. I don't have a desire to do it, let's put it that way." However, and this is a big however, Lewis goes on to say, there's obviously many factors when it comes to whether you're going to take a job or not. I mean, let's be honest. We can claim to be artists all day long, but we're just professionals. And if the money's right, we'll probably do a lot of things. So he's basically saying, whether he has a desire or not to return to the franchise, if he's paid enough, he'll do it. And to be honest guys, you can't really be angry at him for saying that money isn't everything, but I know it certainly helps. He finishes with saying that any talk of a new movie is probably bullshit, and that the power of the Harry Potter franchise itself is carrying all these rumours. Then we have Bonnie Wright, who played Ginny Weasley, and she closed down the idea of a return for herself and a reboot in general, where she says, "I think it's like a time capsule, and you open it, and it changes and everything feels kind of different. For sure I miss playing Ginny, but I always quite like the idea that it's properly compacted into those 7 years at Hogwarts." Her on-screen brother Oliver Phelps, who plays George, who is the only living Weasley twin in the story, also feels like Harry Potter should be just left alone. It's so iconic that it's one of those things you don't try and replicate something that means so much to so many people. I think that would be probably a bad idea. And there's so much other stuff going on in the Wizarding World with Fantastic Beasts and the Cursed Child. The films are very much in their own place. Guys, even Warwick Davis, who played Griphook the Goblin and Professor Phileas Flitwick, thinks a return for himself and an overall reboot would also be a bad idea. He said, "I think we look back now and we've got those wonderful films. I think it would be, in a way, a shame to mess with something that is so beloved." I know a lot of rejections there guys, but on a positive note, Ralph Fiennes, who played Lord Voldemort, will be absolutely open to a return to reprise the role of the Dark Lord, when he says absolutely no question about it. The only thing is Voldemort is dead, so that would mean it would have to be like a sequel movie or something of the sort. So guys, as you can see, it certainly doesn't look like we're going to be getting any of the major characters to return to their roles. As disappointing as that may be, I do agree with many of their points. The Harry Potter movies are an open and closed chapter for those people, and the movies are truly beloved. For me personally, as I stated at the beginning of the video, I'd love a next generation Hogwarts show, or a movie, or a prequel surrounding the story points of Hogwarts legacy even. I mean, can you imagine Sebastian on screen, or Phineas Nigellus Black as headmaster, and just looking at Hogwarts in a new light but from an older time? Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know some of the comments from the actors may disappoint you, but what kind of Hogwarts Harry Potter movie series or show would you like to see? Thanks for watching, and make sure to look out for my next video.